Yeah, so we got back from Newcastle, longest flight together. Yeah. And then other flights that we'd been on were just around Moorabbin. Yep. You know, go up, just fly around.
Yep.
And then come back, you know.
Well, you mean
more
like
hours.
short trips around Melbourne?
Short trips around Melbourne, yeah. Okay. And then once we flew over the city, and he did that to show me, you know, just the city from up above. And I know he had to get permission to do that.
Yeah.
And another time, and also I had never flown over water with Fred in the plane. Yep. So maybe over the bay, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's probably
as close as it got.
Yeah. Okay. And another time, which was fantastic, he actually took me aerobatic flying, which was only the once, but it was fantastic. It wasn't in a Cessna. He did hire another plane. Yeah. I have no idea what kind of plane.
What sort of plane it was.
Yeah. But I remember it was like this little yellow plane, and I think I was sitting behind him in the plane. I think he was in front and I was behind.
Like you would in a glider or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I know there was the two seats.
Yeah.
And
whereabouts was, when you do that sort of...
We hired it from Moorabbin. I remember that.
But where did you do the aerobatic stuff?
Not sure.
Okay, all right.
Sorry, but it wouldn't have been around here. I think it was not far from here.
Yeah.
Yeah, but around Moorabbin. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just fantastic. You know, didn't worry me at all, and he was really good at it. You know. Yeah. We did. I think we were up maybe 3/4 of an hour. Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, and we did. I know that we definitely did like a lot of loops.
Yeah.
You know, complete loops, which was fantastic.
I wouldn't imagine like just any pilot could do this.
No.
This is something you would have to, I would imagine, have studied for.
Yes.
Had practiced with others.
Yes.
For a fair while before you tackle something like that.
Yeah, definitely. He never mentioned, you know, that he learned that or anything to me, but he was showing me that he could do that.
So his confidence level in flying either that plane or a Cessna was pretty good?
Pretty good, very good.
So he's a very confident flyer, you think?
Very, very confident.
Because there has been a lot of people say over a long period of time that he didn't always seem to know what he was doing.
Yes, no.
But I'm getting the impression that's not the case. No.
I had been, in lots of flights, and he knew exactly what he was doing.
Okay.
You know, with the plane, and when you're up there, you know, he knew everything. And he was always calm and relaxed and, you know, and it was enjoyable, you know, really enjoyable.
So let's just digress a little bit.
Yes.
At what point did you meet the Valentich family?
It would have been about a month, probably 3 or 4 weeks after I met Fred, that he took me over.
He took you to their house?
Yes, he took me over, to introduce me to them. Yeah, and we had a great day.
Yeah.
You know.
So you kind of clicked with them from day one?
Yes, I did. Yes, with all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ricky sort of like, you know, he thought it was great, you know. Like a bigger sister sort of, you know. Yeah. And the twins.
You might want to explain who Ricky is.
Oh, Ricky is Fred's younger brother, who was 12 when he went missing.
Yeah, Richard,
yes. And we called him Ricky, and Freddie was called Freddie at home. You know. Okay. And he had two twin sisters who were 4 years old at the time when he went missing. So,
Olivia and Lara.
Yeah, and so when I met them, they were 3.
Okay, so they were only very young.
Yes, because another thing too is that Olivia, Lara, Fred and Alberta, which is Fred's mum, all shared the same birthday, which is June the 9th.
Wow.
Yeah. So good
That's
parties,
very unusual.
Really. Very unusual. But great parties, you know, when they have a birthday party. But
it's a bulk birthday party.
Yeah. So like they turned 4 on June the 9th, and Fred, of course, turned 20. And So, but no, we had a great day. They accepted me into the family very well.
Very early.
And it was really good.
And what about your parents? When did Fred meet your parents?
Well before that, because you know, he had to come and pick me up because, you know, I didn't drive.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I was 16.
So you made him come into the house.
Yes, I did. No. Yeah, Mum and Dad would make sure of that. That they
And what was their impression of Fred? Did they ever give you any indication of what they thought?
They loved him.
Yeah.
They loved everything about him, you know. More because I think, she's finally got someone, you know, that's, you know, half decent. No, not, you know. Maybe
I know what you mean.
Maybe, that was really, really, really nice. Not that I had bad boyfriends before that, but you know, I didn't have many before that. But you've got this man in a uniform,
and he's very smart in his uniform. And
yes.
He was very obviously,
he knew
had
where
really
he was
great
going,
manners.
Great manners, and to Mum and Dad, that was like a dream come true.
Was Fred a tall person?
How tall
he
was.
Roughly? Would you say 6 foot?
Yeah, I'd say, maybe 5'9". Yeah.
5'9"?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So, and Mum and Dad, loved him. You know, loved everything about him. Yeah. So they were very happy, you know, and which was good. They'd allow me to go out with him anytime. Yeah. You know,
because at 16, that's very young.
Oh yeah.
So there was never any sort of bitterness or anything, or concern, not bitterness, but more concern that you being that young, that somebody who was 20 taking you out, that was never an issue in any way.
Never. Not after they met him and learnt about him. Yeah. You know, and he was a good talker. He really talked to them, you know. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so no, they never had a problem at all, ever. You know, that if I was with him, you know, they were happy. Yeah.
All right, well, how about we, let's move on a little bit further, because I think we've established the connection between the UT guys and where that was going, obviously. Yeah. Let's get closer to the day. Yeah. Between the time you met him up until, let's say, maybe the week before, at that particular point in time, had the relationship between you grown further? Had it got more serious, or was it on the same level? Where was that heading?
Okay. I'd say it wouldn't have been long before it got a lot stronger. You know, like maybe the second month into being together, it was really strong. Strong relationship. Because I remember he wanted to celebrate our anniversary every month. Yeah, okay. You know, where usually you would, like, every year or something, you would celebrate
that's another month.
when you met, you know, and everything. But no, he was, you know, he'd bring me flowers and everything. You know, he was take me out somewhere special, you know, on our anniversary. But I remember 3-month anniversary, and I had it written in a diary that I have, and he took me to a really fancy restaurant. And it was actually down this way, which is a lot away from, a fair way from where we live. And he'd planned the whole thing, you know, like, now I have got the restaurant written down at home, but I can't remember it. Yeah. And, which is not important, but
no, it's not really.
But we went there that night, and he had planned, he gave me flowers, and he, had a beautiful 3-course meal, all, you know, like already planned out. Everything.
He sounds like a real romantic sort of guy.
Very romantic, very, very romantic. Yeah.
I think that's the Italian way to some.
Yes, and so we had this beautiful meal, and he actually had arranged for a guy to play the violin at our table. You know, like
he was going all out.
He was going all out for sure, and. So they didn't have that there, but he had arranged for that person to come and play us a song at the table, and it just blew me away. You know. And another thing about him too, I don't know if I mentioned it before. I always open the doors, always open the car doors, and No, he was a real gentleman, a real romantic, And then but he would always make sure that our anniversary was celebrated in some special way. So
No, I believe that in our conversations that we've had, he actually gave you something very special.
Yes, he did, and that was 1 week before he went missing, and it was on Friday the 13th, which I was very
bit of an omen.
Yes, bit of an omen. You know, we went for a drive. A lot of times we would go for a drive, and a lot of times we go up to the Dandenongs because it had such a great view. You know, and nothing would happen. We'd just sit and we would talk. We talked so much, you know, about things, about everything, you know. And so we're up there in the car, we're looking at the view, big chats about lots of things. And he pulls this ring out of his pocket.
Mr.
You know,
Smoothie.
Hey?
Mr. Smoothie.
Oh, yes. And he asked me to marry him.
Yeah.
You know, and it was just the most perfect place and just special, you know.
So is this like an engagement ring, or is it a friendship ring, or
no,
is it some other kind of ring?
It was a friendship ring.
It was a friendship ring.
Yes, and I have that ring.
Okay.
Which is...
Maybe you can hold it up for the folks at home. They probably won't be able to get a very good close look, but they can...
No, but that's
get
the
a
ring,
general
and
idea.
it's got 3 beautiful little sapphires in it.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, and it is engraved, but I did that later on.
Okay.
You know, and with the engravement, whether to mention it now, but I put 3 special dates in there that meant special things to us.
Excellent. Good stuff. So that was a week before.
That was a week before, on Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
And he proposed, and of course I said yes. You know, it'd be silly not to, you know, but no. He gave me this ring on that night. Yeah. Not an engagement ring, and he put it on my ring finger. That's why I wear it on that finger. Yeah. You know, and he and I was like, no, it's like Friday the 13th, and you know, again going back to old-fashioned values and that, you don't do that.
You find another date.
Yes, but
don't use the 13th.
But not just the 13th. You don't put it on your ring finger.
Yeah, that's another thing too. Yeah,
you put it on
any other finger will do.
And then the engagement ring goes on that finger. Yeah. And then it was just an old-fashioned thing that in that time, you know.
And if he's proposed to you, then has he actually got a ring coming, like an engagement ring?
Oh, yes. He had an engagement. He already planned all this, as he does. Yeah. Plans everything. Yeah. You know, like everything had to be right. Yeah. And he had an engagement ring on lay-by in a jeweller's in Moonee Ponds.
Puckle
Street, Moonee Ponds. And he had picked it himself, so I hadn't even seen it. And he said to me, that night, he said to me that the ring is on lay-by, your engagement ring. He said, but I bought this one as well to give you, to do this tonight, to propose, you know. And he goes, but I have to pay the other one off.
Yeah, you know, okay. The old lay-by thing.
Yes. So he bought this just till I get the other ring. Yeah. And he said to me, that it was on lay-by, and that, you know, he was going to pay it off. And he said to me that best not to say anything, you know, to anyone, even your parents, about this. He goes, because he wanted to keep it a secret till Christmas, because he knew he would have that paid off by Christmas.
So he wanted to put a few things in place before it all sort of...
Oh, yes, always working things out.
Like you said, planning all the time.
Yes, yeah. And he said that he was going to make the announcement and give me the ring and propose again. At Christmas with the family. Okay. You know,
that's nice.
So and then he had everything worked out. He also said, my birthday was in December, so he said, you'll be 17, and he said to do the right thing by both parents. He said, we'll have a year's engagement, and you'll be 18, and then we'll get married. So
perfect.
So it would have been just fantastic, you know. And but yes, so the following weekend, he went missing.
Yeah. So in that week between him giving you the ring and the following week when he took off, was there much? Did you see much of him, or probably not? I'd assume probably not, because he was too busy studying.
Yes, only on the Friday night, the night before he went missing, I saw him, and I spent at least 3-4 hours with him at my house.
Yeah. So you saw him on the Friday night for 3-4 hours.
Yes, but we did. I think we spoke on the phone that week every night.
Yeah.
We rang each other.
Yeah. Oh, that was nice.
Yeah. And just, short calls, but we did speak every night that week. And then he came to my house after 16. He'd been to the, North Melbourne.
Yep.
And then he came over to my house and, sat around with Mum and Dad in the lounge and,
just
chatted.
Do what you do.
Yeah.
Chill out.
Yeah, chilled out and chatted. And
had a smooch.
Yeah, at the front door when he was leaving, and it was a very long one.
Well,
longer than normal.
That was what it was like back in the 70s.
Which was really good because I never saw him after that.
Yeah.
So,
well, there you go.
It was a good thing. Yeah. I think I remember my dad saying, come on, back inside. That's long enough. Get inside.
Parents
sort of
can
thing.
be pains.
Oh yeah. They were good, but
Yeah.
So. With the ring, I don't know if you want to talk about this now, but after he went missing, I went with my father because I knew what jewellers it was. He told me which jewellers.
Mm-hmm.
I went with my father to try. My father was willing to pay off whatever was left on that ring.
Because at this point you're wanting the ring now.
Yes, because he's gone.
Because he's gone, and this is it. This is the only connection you've got left that you haven't got that he was going to give you. Yeah.
Oh, I've got this one.
Well,
but
no,
still,
but what I'm saying is he had something that he wanted to give you.
Yeah.
And never got the chance to, but you knew where that was to go and get it.
Yeah.
So you
wanted that.
Yeah.
I wanted that desperately. Yeah.
So what happened there?
I went with my father and we went into the jewellers, and it was the right jewellers. We knew which one.
Yeah.
And we asked to see the ring as well as purchase the ring.
Yep.
Whatever was left on the ring.
Yep.
And, we used Fred's name because it was under his name.
Mm-hmm.
And I explained who I was, but I really didn't need to have to do that because my face was plastered over every...
You were pretty famous around
TV,
that point in time.
papers, you name it, And even though this was about a month later, but still, I was out there. So he knew who I was. And so anyway, the jeweller would not let me buy the ring, and he would not let me even see the ring. And because he said I needed a receipt to get the ring, and so that was it. There was nothing else we could do about that. I didn't have the receipt. I thought that Fred had the receipt in his wallet, but I've just found out only this weekend coming down that spending time with Alberta on the weekend, which is Fred's mum, that she had the receipt.
Okay.
And what would happen was Fred would give her some money and she would go and put a payment on the ring.
Yep.
So even though he said don't tell anyone about this, he told his mother, and that's all he told, but his mother and him were very, very close.
Yeah.
They would talk about everything, you know. And so she went to go and get the ring because she wanted to give it to me, and she told me that.
Yeah.
And the same thing happened. She even had the receipt, which I didn't have, and they still wouldn't give her.
So did they give you any indication why they would not do that? Either
No.
to yourself or to Alberta?
None.
Do you have any thoughts about why that would have been the case?
Because it was a big case, and that, I don't know, he's going to make money out of this, by keeping that money and keeping the ring.
So you think he's going to make money out of the ring by saying this was what Fred was buying or something?
Not sure that angle, but,
He obviously thought he could make something out of it somehow.
Yeah.
Let's have a quick look. We've got some things here, folks, which Rhonda's been putting together, and I'm not sure how long you've been putting this together, but I'm assuming
from day
it's
one.
Probably a long time.
Yes.
But here we go. We'll just, if you want to hold that up in front of the camera there, and you can explain maybe that bottom photo would be a...
Yeah.
That's a famous photo. Everybody would have seen that if they have anything to do with the Fred Valentich case, would have seen that photo before. But
many times.
Rhonda will explain to you exactly where that is and why it was taken.
Yep. That photo was at the Babes Discotheque, which is this one here, and also that was related to that. That was their symbol of their disco, and that was at the Chevron Hotel, which is St Kilda Road and Commercial Road, and we went there all the time. We'd go to other places sort of closer to home now and then, but that was our favourite place to go.
Yep. And we don't normally pop Saturday night or something.
Oh, Saturday night, yeah. Friday night was the Air Force Base, the headquarters there, and Saturday night, yes.
Where's your time?
Yeah, nearly every Saturday night, because, as he said, weekends weekends was us and weekdays were other things.
Yeah.
So, I have put all these together. They were in a very, very old scrapbook, and it was starting to fall apart, so I had to do something about that. So, and but that's us having a drink, and we had many dancers on the night. He was excellent dancer, really smooth dancer, and I was pretty good myself. But we attended this place a lot, and they, back then would have photographers go around and take your photo, and you could buy the photo. And, so that was that photo.
Okay.
And
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at
which is amazing. 16 and I'm at a nightclub.
Yeah, actually that's an interesting point, because at 16 I wouldn't have thought that you would have been allowed in.
No.
So what was going on there?
They never did security checks like they do now.
So you just,
if you looked older
kind of
than
snuck in, and that
16,
was it?
which I did a little.
Yeah.
They just let you in.
Okay.
Things were more
relaxed then. They didn't do so many checks like they do today.
But so which is great.
I'm just going to pull this photo out. Is that all right?
Yeah.
Because I just
anything can come out of them. So
I wanted to show this to, if I can get hold of it.
Yeah. It hasn't come out of there for a while, but it's not stuck in. It's just,
I've got it now. So this photo here, this one here, obviously has a passion for dirt bike riding.
Yes, yeah.
How did that all come about?
Well, no, I actually never saw him ride his bikes.
Right.
I think when I came along, he was, we were, we had other things to do.
Yeah.
So, but I think he probably did it on a Sunday or whatever.
Just unwind, he'd just take off and... do you know where he used to ride?
No, I don't, but I'm glad I do have that photo.
But that's taken at his parents' place.
Yeah, it's at his parents' place, but a great passion. He loved it. Yeah, he loved doing it.
That's a fantastic photo. And of course we all know this one. Let's just... let's pull this one out. Now we've all seen this one, folks, I'm sure.
Yes.
That's just this one here, standing next to a Cessna, which is not DSJ, in case anybody's wondering. Was you with him on this day? Who took this photo? Do you know?
I think I was with him on that day, but I think it was someone at the Moorabbin
Airport took the photo.
And he got the photo probably a few weeks later.
And was there a special reason for taking this photo?
No,
it was just like, I'm here, I'll take a photo.
Yeah,
okay.
someone I think he knew.
Yeah.
Said, or he may have asked that person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, just so people get a better understanding with the plane itself. I know it's probably not that relevant, but it's always nice to know. We're going back to 1978 when everything, obviously, as you can see from the photos, is black and white.
Yes.
But the plane, the actual plane that DSJ was, did have a kind of a stripe along it like this. And it was a blue colour, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Now, it was not a navy blue, was it?
No,
it was more of a light, like a sky blue, almost.
Yes.
So there was a white plane with the sky blue running through it, and where the wheels are, the top covers of the wheels were also a light blue.
Yeah.
So it was a very distinct looking aeroplane, and it would have been easy to see if you'd seen it flying overhead.
Yeah.
But so that's very interesting to look at those photos after all those years.
Yeah.
And maybe you want to explain that one there. We're just going to go through a couple of these things, and then we'll start talking about some other things.
Yeah. And they're just two other photos that were given to me by Fred that he had himself, and one in his uniform, handsome devil that he is, and another one with other people that he used to be with at the Air Force. So.
And these uniforms are like a light blue too, aren't they?
No, they're a darker blue. Yeah.
They're a darker blue.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like a royal sort of blue.
So, sorry, who were these people again?
Well, I can't remember everyone's name.
Yeah. No, I don't mean names, but is that the squadron?
Yes, that's the squadron.
That he used to hang around with?
Yes,
yeah. Okay.
Yeah. That would have been probably, 16 Flight, North Melbourne, I guess.
That's what they were called? 16 Flight?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, there's Fred in the middle there at the back. And he was very, very close to a lot of these people here in the photo.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's fantastic, folks,
yes.
isn't it? That's really good to just have a bit of a look to, sort of bring Fred back to some extent so we can have a bit of a look and, hear it from Rhonda exactly, what Fred was like as a person.
Yeah.
Sounds like a very meticulous guy.
Yes.
Liked to plan a lot out as far as, doing his flight. He would make sure he'd plan it all out first. So that's very interesting to hear, because you do hear a lot of different things about, Fred Valentich and what he was really truly like. We might move on now to the actual day.
Yeah.
And we'll start that off, I think, by telling you that, from what I know, and Rhonda can confirm yes or no maybe as we go through this, and we're going to try and do this in a slow-paced way so you can take all this in. From what I understand, Fred got up out of bed roughly about 6 o'clock in the morning and went out into the kitchen and had some breakfast with his family. And then, from what I know, he then went and had a shower and a shave and got dressed and then planned to go off to work. So then he drove to work, which was in Puckle Street, Moonee Ponds. Yes. 139 Puckle Street, Moonee Ponds. If you're down that way, you can drive past. I don't know that the building's there anymore, but it was Aussie Disposals.
Yes.
Aussie Disposals, for those that won't know, it's like old army equipment and things, isn't it? Old army clothes,
Air Force
pots
as well.
and pans, and Air Force as well, and people could go there and buy basically cheap things and use it for camping and whatever. So that's where Fred worked, and he worked there with a chap by the name of Dick, and I can't remember Dick's last name. But he worked there with him, and on that day he arrived at work on time, as he always did, because he was very meticulous. He never was late. And then spent the morning doing what he has to do at work, and during that time Dick had actually noticed that he was a little bit sort of preoccupied, and it turned out that he was preoccupied because he was going over the flight plan in his head, what he had to do to get prepared for this flight. He also had some training to do that he was doing for a course that he was working at Moorabbin Airport. So he was probably throwing that through his head at the same time as well. But it was more about this flight across water and probably going to be late in the day, which he hadn't really done before. And when I say across water, I don't mean across the bay. I mean actually across from one island to another island over deep water. So he was throwing that around in his head and trying to get everything sorted so he could understand what he had to do, where he had to go, basically planning out that day right to the nth degree until he probably got home that night. Is that a fair assumption?
Yes,
okay.
Definitely.
So that's what he did.
Yeah.
And then Fred left work at lunchtime because back in 1978 in Victoria, everything closed, didn't it?
12 o'clock.
That's right. Now, shops were not allowed to be open after 12. Isn't that a ridiculous thing? Now, that's not how it is today, as we know, and the shops stay open as long as they possibly can.
Yes.
But back in 1978, that wasn't the case. So that was good for Fred, because then he was able to leave work, which he did, at midday. He drove down the Nepean Highway to Moorabbin Airport.
Yeah.
He got to the airport, and he was a little bit early for his course that he was doing at the time. And the course was part of his... help me out, Rhonda. It was part of his flight lessons that he was learning, wasn't it?
Yeah.
To become a commercial pilot.
Pilot, yeah.
And so that's what he was. That's what he was doing on that particular day. And he got there early, so he sat in the car park with his textbook, and he was studying, wasn't he?
For that day.
For that day, for
to
you know, the fresh for the day, and you know, so he was on his game, so to speak.
Yeah.
And then, tell me from here. Now he had to go into that course at 1:30?
Yes, well, usually it was 1 to 4.
Okay.
The class.
Yes.
But that day it was 1:30 to 4:30.
Okay.
Reasons I don't know. Mm-hmm. Maybe the instructor was late, or So,
and that's probably why he sat in the car park, because he was there early.
Yes, he was there early, and maybe the reason why another reason contributing to why he left later, because the class went longer. Yeah. So, but yes, he would have sat in his class. He would have done it was no exams. It was just a class, and so he would have done that, and then after that, he would have probably prepared his plane or gone in to see about that, like hiring it and doing all the things that he probably had to do. And then after that, he would have probably definitely gone and had McDonald's.
All right, well, let's just not race ahead too quickly here. Let's just back it up a little bit, because we want you to understand what's going on here. So Fred's finished his training or his course for the day. Yes. His class, he's come out of his class. And the class only consisted of a handful of people, from what I know. We're not talking like 30 people here, we're talking a handful, maybe 5, 6 type people. Yeah. So he's come out of there, and then he's gone to lodge his flight plan.
Yes, flight plan.
And he did that, from what I know, he did that at 5:20 in the afternoon, or approximately. Yeah. So he's come out of class. Now, the class finished at 4:30.
Yes. As far as I know, it did.
So he's come out of that, and then he's had some time in between where he's had to go and do something.
He probably would have worked out the flight plan.
Okay, so he spent that time working out the flight plan.
and checking, maybe making sure what plane he's going to get, maybe all those things. So he's preparing for that flight.
He's got about 40, 50 minutes that he's done that in.
Yeah.
So then he's gone and lodged his flight plan with the office.
Yeah.
And then he's gone to, after he's lodged it, he's gone to then find some food, because he's getting hungry. He hasn't had lunch.
Yes, and he wouldn't have eaten lunch after he left work. He would have drove straight to Moorabbin.
And he would have done that because he didn't want to be late for his class.
Yes.
Okay, all right. So he's worried about
he'd be hungry by now.
Food can come later, basically. Yes. Let's get there, do what we have to do.
Yes.
So now he's got to the point he's getting hungry.
Yes.
And he's needed to go find some food.
Yes, so he would have definitely chose McDonald's, only because McDonald's was new at that time.
Right.
I only just started, so it was a big thing. He
liked McDonald's.
He did like McDonald's.
In a big way.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so, he would have definitely eaten McDonald's.
Yeah. Now, there is a McDonald's on the way to the airport on the Nepean Highway. Is that correct?
Yes, there is.
So he would have driven past that and knowing that was there.
Yeah.
So let's assume, for this point in time, that he's actually left Moorabbin Airport.
Yes.
And he's headed down to down to the Nepean Highway.
Yes.
To buy this.
This would be definite. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, let's get this into some sort of perspective here.
Yeah.
And we'll do this, we'll try and show you a map of this somewhere in this video, but basically this McDonald's is pretty much opposite a road that leads straight to the beach.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
So it goes straight to the beach, which is part of the bay, and would be at some point in time part of the flight that he would take. So he's left McDonald's. He's now, from what we know, gone down to the bay.
Yes,
and that's something you said he would do.
Yes, yeah, we did that a lot.
Why do you say that?
Oh, we did that a lot.
Okay.
You know, like we go to Dandenong and sit and just look, but we go to the water a lot and just look out because there's a beautiful view.
Okay.
You know,
a bit like going up in the Dandenongs and having that view.
Yeah.
So you'd rather do that than just sit in the car somewhere in a car park.
I know. Yeah. And you can look out over the water and you know. Yeah,
and so it's fair enough to say then that he would have, you know, because he's got this flight in his mind. Yeah. And he's thinking about this, and he has been all day. He's now gone down to the beach to not only just sit there and look out, but imagine what he had to do and where he had to go.
Yeah. And he would have eaten his food there too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, when he lodged his flight plan, takeoff time was around about 5:40.
Yeah.
Now, if he's left at 5:20, it's not giving him a lot of time to go down to the McDonald's, get the food, eat it, and get back.
Yeah.
So he's clearly got back later than 5:40.
Yes.
So then he's had to organise also fuelling the plane.
Yes.
And then from there he's had to probably maybe do a few other preparation things that he has to do.
Yeah, he would check the plane over twice.
Yeah. Now, from what I know is the plane wasn't filled until around about 6:10.
Yeah.
So if it was 6:10 and then he took off at 6:19.
Yeah.
So it kind of sort of ties in. The only strange thing about the whole thing is that he's lapsed in his time and it's gone past when he was supposed to take off on the flight plan. Is it likely that it's probably not likely that he's gone back and readjusted the flight plan, has he? Or would he have gone back to the airport and said, "Look, I'm not going to make the 5:40 flight.
Yes.
Can we readjust it?"
He may have.
He may have. But there doesn't seem to be any record of that, does there?
No, there's no record of that. So.
Okay. So there you go, folks. So I'm going to leave that with you to think about because that's something we don't have answers for, but it throws it out there as to what we believe has happened. So now Fred's decided to take off at 6:19. Now originally, or let's go back up slightly, he's going to King Island, supposedly. And when he gets to King Island, he will need the lights turned on for the runway so he can see where to land. But he hasn't asked for them to turn the lights on. He hasn't asked for that. Why is that? I don't know. Maybe because he originally planned to take off at 5:40. He would have got there in daylight.
Yes.
And maybe at that point in time he hasn't. Scenario number one. Now, if he has taken off and not informed them to put the runway lights on, he could have still done that
via telling Steve Roby.
Via Steve Roby, who was Air Services.
Yeah.
He could have told him and they could have radioed on ahead to get those lights turned on.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, and we're not going to judge this, he hasn't done that.
He just forgot.
Maybe he just forgot.
Not like him, but yes, he could have just forgot. With a lot of things going on.
But it certainly looks like the reason the lights weren't asked to turn on because he left later.
Yes.
And if he'd left on his normal time, he would have got there in daylight.
I think, yes, he would have got there in daylight. Yeah, for sure.
All right. So let's just step away from Fred at the moment. We know he's in the plane. He's taken off. He's about to head down to the Cape. Where are you at this time?
Yes. I was at work in a chemist in West Preston, Gilbert Street, West Preston. Yep. And my hours that day were 9 to 2 o'clock. And I was supposed to go on that flight with him that day. Yep. We talked about it on the Friday night.
Yep.
And there was no definite plan. Like I said, if I can make it, I will be there and I'll be waiting at the car because I knew where the car would be, or waiting in the office where he has his class.
Well, so Moorabbin Airport's not a big airport.
No,
it's easy to find somebody.
Yeah. And I knew where he had his classes, so I knew where to go. So and I said to him, if I can make it, Mum and Dad have promised to give me a lift, you know, and I should make it, you know, but if things happen, well, you know, I might not turn up. So anyway, everything happened that day to stop me from going on that flight.
Yeah.
I was working at work. The girl that was supposed to now also everything did shut at 12, but some chemists would stay open till 6 because they're a chemist.
It's kind of like an essential service, really, isn't it?
Yeah. So mine did. Mine always stayed open till 6 o'clock. Yeah. But I think he opened in the morning on a Sunday. But yes, you know, which unheard of. But yes. So anyway, the girl that was supposed to come in at 2 o'clock and then work till 6, she got held up. So she rang and said, I'm going to be at least an hour late. And so that was that. And then...
so what time was this?
That would have been about 1:30 when she rang. Yep. And then, so my bosses asked me to... which I remember his name, Marcel Saxone. Yeah, it's just weird because it was that day, you know, that day and everything. Yes, I sort of remember that, and he asked me to stay back because that girl could not make it in on time. So I said, okay, you know, it'll be okay, but I have to make a phone call just to arrange something that I'm doing after this.
Yep.
So he let me ring Mum and Dad, and because they were going to give me a lift to Moorabbin Airport.
Yep.
Because my uncle lived in East Bentley, and which Moorabbin's just past that.
Yeah,
you know, not
it's
far.
very close.
Yeah. And so I rang Mum and Dad and I explained what had happened, and I said, "Do you think you'll still be able to give me a lift down to Moorabbin?"
Yeah.
And Mum goes, no, because, you know, she'd made arrangements too with my uncle, you know, and they're going for a meal, and, you know, it would be an hour later.
It's interesting, this is all about time, isn't it?
Yes,
it's all about time.
Yeah. So Mum said, unfortunately, we can't. So she said, you know, try your brother, ring him and see if he can give you a lift. So, yes, I rang my brother and asked if I could have a lift to Moorabbin, because I knew he was going out with his mates in the afternoon, just, you know, cruising or whatever they did, you know. No, got a no, because really, a younger sister, and he sort of really didn't care, you know.
He was busy doing his own thing.
He was with his mates and, you know, didn't want to take his sister in the car with his mates. And
So what happened from there? Well, now you're kind of stuck. Now you've got no way of getting there.
Went home.
Okay.
There was nothing I could do, so I just went home.
How did you get home?
Tram. Okay. Like there was trams, and I'd walk a bit. We walked everywhere, you know.
And of course, there's, you know, let's say it again. There's no mobile phone, so if you got no way of contacting Fred, to say you're not going to be there.
That's another. I couldn't
and yet
tell him.
He's thinking you're coming, and you're not coming.
Yeah, which could have delayed him as well.
Yeah, true.
There we go again.
Yeah,
you know, he could have been
waiting
holding
back to see if
I
you're
turn up.
Yeah.
So which I think he may have a little bit, you know, and then thinking, it's late, she mustn't be coming, I've got to go.
Yeah, it's kind of got to that point in the day. The light's starting to fade a little bit, and
and I was even considering catching a taxi because I really wanted to go. And I rang the taxi company and asked how much it would be from West Preston or even Preston, where I was at home, to get to Moorabbin, and they quoted me probably a $20 cab fare, which was a lot of money in those days.
What, 1/5 of your wage?
I got $80 a week. So
and it's a long way too, isn't it?
It is a long way.
It's not just around the corner.
No, not from my house.
How many kilometres do you reckon that would be? It's probably 40. At least 40 kilometres away.
Oh yeah,
easy.
At least 40. Yeah. So I couldn't afford the $20.
I know it's going to sound like a strange question, but you know, Fred lived out the other side of town. But he flew out of Moorabbin. Just so people know, there's no other airport out that side of town that he could have used?
Essendon? Airport.
Did he ever fly from Essendon?
No.
So he just never really...
I think he liked Moorabbin.
He liked Moorabbin Airport. It was his favourite. Yeah. That's fair enough.
And his classes were there, so it all fitted in for him, like, and back then, just driving around, we never worried about distance, to do
don't when you're young. You just drive wherever you want to go, and that's it. Yeah.
So I think he liked going from there. Yeah.